Soundpaint has released a CS80 instrument, and being a bit of a CS80 fan, I couldn't resist it. So in this video I will give you a very short demo. I shall point you to a much better and longer demo, but with a caveat. I will explain a little bit about Soundpaint in case you're not familiar with it. It's totally free and comes with lots of instruments, no reason not to download it. But I'll also give you a coupon so you can save $15 on an instrument should you want to buy any. And of course you don't have to. Now, Soundpaint is a sample player, so their version of the CS80 is a sample library. But I shall also reference some of the CS80 software emulations. There is a difference, and it's interesting to compare the two from that point of view. So Soundpaint is essentially a sample player, a bit like Contact, only slightly more proprietary and with some synth-like functions. I shall give you the briefest of demos when I head over to the music machine. So this CS80 library has over 400 programs. They were created with Soundpaint's UDS process, which stands for ultra deep sampling, which means they have taken a lot of samples of the various sounds to give you a more realistic and, I guess, variable feel. Very important if you are trying to reproduce the sound of analog gear. Some of these programs have up to, wait for it, 29 round robins. So if that doesn't give you a genuine analog feel, I don't know what will. The patches themselves are arranged into several categories, including arps, basses, bells and plucks, brass, keys, leads, noises, pads. There's some presets from the instrument, ring modulated sounds, strings. There's some quick start templates to get you going in case you need a bit of assistance or inspiration. And a special unison mode, which again I will cover when I head over to the music machine. So let's do that now, see what it looks like and what it sounds like. So this is the Soundpaint interface. I'm not going to go over it in any detail because everyone and their dog has made videos about it. But really, if you want to know what it's about and what it does, check out the Soundpaint YouTube channel. I shall link to that below. They have a lot of videos about it. But essentially this is the engine. It's not just a playback sampler. They have an effects section, lots of effects to choose from and play with. There is an ARP section, which is one of my favourite parts of the thing. There's a matrix for setting up modulations and so on. And of course a filter. You'll see the little image disappears because the filter needs room for it. And lots of other settings and modulations and things you can mess about with. So let's get the little image back. So I'm just going to run through a few of the presets, not too many, because as I said before, there is a super long video. It's almost an hour, I think, where they run through just about every preset on the thing. So you get a little image. We'll see more of those as I go through the options, but it gives you a little bit of information on this one. At any rate, let's hear the first ARP preset. So there's some sort of echo on that. Let's play a couple of notes. Okay, that's number one. I shall just tab down through the list here and let's have a look at another one. And the image is changed as well. Does that sound like a CS80? Well, they are obviously using the arpeggiator. I don't think the CS80 has an arpeggiator. But the sound, you can switch your arpeggiator off as well, of course. So this is a nice sound. Now, one of the things, most of the patches, if not all of them, respond to the modulation wheel. So it's down at the minute. Let's play this. That's quite nice. And here's another one. Oh, what does that sound like? Blade Runner vibes, anyone? Let's try the mod wheel. Yeah, it's very effective, very nice. I don't know if anyone would be courageous enough to use that patch in one of their own pieces of music, because everyone would point at them and said, that's the Blade Runner riff, isn't it? Anyway, lots of interesting arpeggiators here. Let's have a quick look at some of the other sounds. So this is the first bass sound. Nice bass sound. Monophonic. And it's interesting to see these little images. I'm going to say a little bit more about these a little bit later. Let's try something at random. What does this one sound like? This is nice. Some nice sounds, as you would hope. Anyway, from this AS80. Bells and plucks. Sounds like something out of a spaghetti western. Pluck sound. Oh. Virgin on the atonal. I know the one you want to hear most of all is the brass. Well, the brass and the strings, because this is what the CS80 is renowned for and what Vangelis used in a lot of his music and soundtracks. This is the first brass patch. Oh, very Vangelis-like. It just makes you want to play a Blade Runner. Let's try another couple. Bit thin and reedy, that one. It's a big brass sound. That's the way I'm playing them. I'm not sure if that's the patch for Chariots of Fire. So, very CS80-like as you would expect, because these have come direct from a CS80. Let's have a look at some string sounds. This is the first string patch. A lot of analog movement there. That's a CS80 in need of tuning. Strings. Oh, brass. I mean, just, you know, I am a fan of the CS80, but these are just some really nice sounds, really nice patches. Not sure about that one. Some of these sound more brassy than stringy. Anyway, there are a couple of other special patches which I really want to show you. So these are the presets. This is the factory preset sound Have a listen to this. Let's try the next one. And the next. So, the point is, if you want the absolute original preset sound of this AS80, they are here. So there's factory presets. Okay, so the other set of sounds I want to show you is this unison selection. Let's have a listen to this. Oh, and an ARP as well. I love that. That is super. Let's try another one. Really nice. These are going to be definitely some of my favorite sounds. So the point about the unison selection is that the CS80 that this was sampled from has a special modification called unison mode, and it stacks all the voices up onto one key. So you get a really big, heavy sound. Really nice. It has lots of other stuff which I'm not going to bore you with my playing. The video on Soundpaint's website is far more entertaining. More of that though in a minute. Don't go away, because I really want to tell you something about that. So it has the leads, it has all the other sounds, the leads and the noises that we mentioned earlier on. Let's get back to the studio and talk about it. What did you think of that? I know it was really short and we only highlighted a few of the 400 instruments, but I'm genuinely impressed by the sounds that this produces. But how does it compare with the synth emulations? Now, I'm not sure how many there are out there. I know of several. Arturia, of course, which I do have. Arturia's CS80V. There's also Cherry Audio's GX7. Softtube's Model 77. What's the other one? Zilslab the 80. Are there any more? Let me know if I've missed any out. So the big difference, which you will have immediately noticed, is that with the sample library, you don't actually get a picture of the instrument. You can't tweak any of the individual controls. One of the things I really like about the Arturia software is that the graphics are fantastic, and you can point and click the buttons and control the sliders and all sorts of stuff with the mouse or from your MIDI keyboard. So it is, I think, a more immersive experience. I think you get a better vibe from having the controls on the screen that you can interact with. So there's no interaction here in that sense, although there are a lot of settings in the Soundpaint engine itself which you can play with and tweak, not to mention the effects and the arpeggiator and all sorts of other stuff. So for an immersive experience, I think the emulations definitely win out. However, this sample library was obviously sampled from a genuine CS80. So you are getting the 100% authentic samples from the instrument. Now, personally, I'm not too bothered about how authentic these emulations might be. 95%, 90%, close enough for jazz, as they say. Definitely close enough for me. It's the sound and the vibe that you get from these things which I really enjoy. So maybe Soundpaint CS80 just lacked a bit of the vibe, but I really like the sounds and what you can do with them within the Soundpaint engine. I also like the images which come up when you select the different programs, but I think it would be useful if they had a little bit more textual information or background for each of the programs when you select them. Now the pack also includes 160 images of the CS80, and the blurb on the site suggests you browse through these while playing the instrument for a more immersive experience. Let's have a little look at these. So here are some of the images that you get. I'm not sure you could sit and browse through these and have an immersive experience. The interesting, nice to have, this seems to be shots from some of the videos which are on the website. Well, probably a lot more than that as well. Nice, but I think expecting this to give you an immersive experience while you are playing the synthesizer is, shall we say, slightly optimistic. Nice shots. Anyway, let's have a look at the price. The full price is $99, although they do have a small discount until the 1st of July. It's not a very long introductory offer period. Apologies if you are watching this too late to take advantage of it. However, as I mentioned at the beginning, Soundpaint itself is totally free and comes with a lot of instruments. You may not feel the need to buy the CS80 or anything else. But if you do, or you think you might want to buy an instrument in the future, if you use the link in the description to get Soundpaint, you will also get a $15 off coupon from an instrument of your choice. I think you have to spend $20 to get the discount. Soundpaint, I think, is one of the few companies which generally do not discount. So it's nice to get a bit of an introductory offer. So is this a good deal? Well, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know what I think about the price of music software, digital products in general. So you can probably guess that I think this is a little bit expensive, but that's just my view. You have to make up your own mind about it. What is quite interesting though is that this is less expensive than many of the software emulations, which will go on sale probably. So if you are interested in this, I would urge you to check out Soundpaint's own demo. It's quite long, it's almost an hour I think. But there is just one thing I want to say about it at the risk of teaching my granny to suck eggs. Now this is delivered by Tolls, who is one of the main guys, or certainly one of the main front guys of Soundpaint. I think he does some of the sampling as well. He seemed to be responsible for sampling the CS80. He's an excellent musician and I really love his voice and his accent. It's a little bit understated, if you know what I mean. But as I was going through this video, yes, I have watched it all, there's one thing which stuck out, and this is evident in many of his other videos as well, but it just became very apparent with this one. He is, because of his presentation and his subdued voice, he is an excellent salesman, and underneath the demo he is obviously trying to sell you the CS80. Now there is no super interface to draw you in, so he does this by selling you the sizzle rather than the sausage. And that's fair enough, but you just need to be aware of it. So as you go through it and listen to his demonstration, just listen for the sizzle words and phrases. Now, everyone who is part of a manufacturer doing demo reviews is obviously trying to sell you the instrument, and he is very good at this, and he does it very subtly in my opinion. So I'm just pointing this out in case you are on the fence about buying the CS80. So watch the video with an air of objectivity. That's all. But I love his presentations and his demos. They are absolutely excellent. So let me know what you think of this. Have you got any views? Software emulation versus sample instrument. Do you get a better vibe from the graphics of an emulation rather than the sample library? Let me know in the comments. I hope you found this useful, interesting, possibly slightly entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in the next video.